Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller, and as Chair of the Board, I welcome you to this November 5th, 2024 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Our Communications Manager, Tiffany Oliphant, will describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Tiffany.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make public comment during today's board meeting, whether you are joining us in person or virtually. If you are here in person and would like to make public comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you are joining us virtually, we will ask you to raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you are joining us virtually and are experiencing technical issues with the audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and I will help you troubleshoot. If you would like closed captioning during this meeting, you will have to manually change your settings. Click on the Captions button and select Show Captions. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted to wcroads.org in the next few days. There are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table near the front door and is also posted on our website. And now I turn it over to Chair Fuller.
Thank you, Tiffany. I now call this November 5th, 2024 regular meeting to order and ask Tiffany to call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller,
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green,
Present.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Present.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Present.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Present.
The following directors are in attendance. Managing Director Matt McDonald, Director of Engineering, County Highway Engineer Brent Schlack, Director of Operations Adam Lape, Director of Finance Dan Ackerman.
Thank you. Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Tiffany, if you would, please.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs,
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. The agenda is approved as presented. May I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of October 15th, 2024, appearing on pages 3 through 28 of the packet?
So move. Second.
Additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Tiffany, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. The minutes of October 15th, 2024 are accepted as presented. Next on our agenda would be the report of our county commission liaisons. I do not see that either of them are with us today.
You are correct, Chair Fuller.
Thank you. Moving to public comment. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board. Tiffany will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments to the board.
Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For virtual attendees, we have provided some instructions on the screen on how to participate and make public comment. If you're attending this meeting virtually and would like to make public comment, please raise your hand now. If you dialed into the meeting from your phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. I will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time and will announce your username or last 4 digits of your phone number. When it is your turn to speak, please share your name and address before beginning your comments. For in-person attendees, we'll start with those who have signed up on the sign-in sheet. As of right now, Chair Fuller, we don't have any public comments.
Thank you. Moving along, written communications appear on pages 29 through 37 of the packet. Commissioners, anything you wish to point out?
I do.
Commissioner Yamas.
So I'd like to give congratulations to the team here who does great work. There was a
Page number, please.
page number. Just 1 second. Oh, page number 33.
All right, page 33.
There was a congratulations and a great thanks to the Senior Project Manager for Traffic and Safety, Michelle Ford, for a quick turnaround from Maria Carter. And I want to just thank our team who's always so on top of it. And that's all I have.
All right, anyone else? Commissioner McCollum,
Madam Chair, I would like to thank Leona, page 32,
thank you.
Leona Foster and Matt Shinsky. They sent a gift basket to WCRC and for the work that was done on Overbrook speed humps. And I'd like to know where the basket is. No, just kidding.
It's empty. That's probably where it is.
You can confirm that, Chair.
I hope
Okay.
it was enjoyed by everyone.
I also on 33 want to comment also on the Facebook comment that the Maria Carter Ewald sent. Appreciate it. And also on page 37, if you will go to page 37, you'll see a wonderful picture of our vice chair, Commissioner Green and Mike, is it Trico? Yeah, from the Ann Arbor 2 Chamber of Commerce event. So those are great. Thank you.
How very photogenic.
Mhm.
Would you care to tell us who Mr. Tirico is, Commissioner Green?
Yes. Mike Tirico is a sportscaster. He has been a television sportscaster for over 37 years. He said he's been on TV for 37 years and he lives in our area. And he's proud of our area. And throughout his message, he kept pumping up Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti. So we're thankful for his input. It was a great event, great turnout. I enjoyed it.
So this was an A2Y Chamber event and he was a speaker.
Yes, he was the guest speaker.
Okay.
Mhm.
Very nice. Anything else, commissioners? Mr. McEnroe?
Chair, I'd just like to point out, and to the commissioners as well, page 34, I wanted to applaud our bridge engineer, senior project manager, Nate Murphy, for successfully submitting a grant application for a bridge replacement. So our receipt of $1.3 million of funding for a local bridge replacement. That's Sibley Road over the Letts Creek, and I believe that's Sylvan Township. So very good news from MDOT on that.
So is that 80% of the project? How does that break down, Matt?
Typically it's 80-20.
Okay, so this would be the 80%
Correct.
figure. Did you take the check to the bank yet, Dan?
But this one, we have to spend the money first, and then they pay the contractor. So
Oh, all right.
it's a little ways out. This project isn't until fiscal year 2027 funding.
All right.
So, but it takes time to prepare for a bridge replacement, the planning, the permitting, but very good news. So,
Just have that wet material on standby waiting for it.
no, yeah.
Well
Madam-
done, Mr. Murphy.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Green.
I'd like to also publicly thank Tiffany Oliphant for her work and making it possible for me to attend the A2Y meeting because it was last minute and she worked her magic, made it possible for me to attend. So I want to publicly say thank you for the great work of this staff. Thank you.
All right. Anything else, commissioners? All right, we will move on. There was no public comments, so we will pass the response section. New business consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 1 through 9. The motions are on page 38 through 42, background appearing on pages 43 through 52.
Make motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Anything you have questions about in the consent agenda? Seeing none. Tiffany, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes,
Commissioner Jeff Smurrs,
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the consent agenda items are approved 1 through 9. We have one action item to consider today. May I have a motion to approve action item number 1, to approve the revised Washtenaw County Road Commission bylaws? The motion is on page 42. The revised bylaws in their entirety appear on pages 53 through 61.
Madam Chair, the staff, that upon the recommendation of the Director of Operations and the concurrence of the Managing Director, the board accepts the bid. Oh, that's the wrong motion. That, excuse me.
Okay, start over.
Start over. That upon the recommendation of Managing Director, the board hereby approves the revised WCRC bylaws.
Second, please.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioners, anything you want to ask about? Anything you saw in there that you had hoped to see covered that wasn't, or? Managing Director, do you have any thoughts to share with us on that?
Yes, Chair, thank you. I appreciate that. We did talk extensively at the working session. Did want to point that out about a month ago, and we were worked through a lot of the comments, and our attorneys had provided this revised, complete draft for us to review and ready for adoption. I did want to point out on page 4 of 8 of the bylaws, item number 9.
Hang on.
No problem. I'll let you get there. We're on there.
No, not yet. Hang on.
Okay.
Yep. you're
which
good.
article?
Article 9.
Article 9.
On page 4. 4 of 8. It was. Yep, page 4.
Thank you.
Mhm. Are you there, Jimmy? Jeff, are you there?
I'm good.
So,
Got it. Okay, take it away, Matt.
yeah, this is page 57 of the board packet. Sorry, there wasn't numbers in there. Participation by board members remotely. We talked at length about the Michigan Open Meetings Act. That really, under the law, the only exception for a board member to participate is the military duty. So obviously that is a rare case, but we had a lot of discussion on that. So you can certainly attend if you're not here, but you cannot participate as a board member. And that's really the meat of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. And it was written in a way that if the law does get amended, that we are covered under that we don't have to go back and revise our bylaws, because that basically, or as otherwise permitted by law, and to the extent allowed for by the Open Meetings Act, is that first sentence in that clause. So I know we had a lot of discussion on that. I just want to point that out.
And that arose because of COVID, right?
Correct.
There
Yes.
were meetings that suddenly had to happen remotely, and to conduct business, people had to be able to cast a vote remotely, but it was legislative action. It was for a defined period of time, and then that expired. Should that happen again, I think we've built in language here that gives us the flexibility
It would.
if we need to.
Yep. So,
Thank you for pointing that out.
no problem. And I just appreciate all the discussion, good questions and dialogue on
Yep.
this that went into that working session and ultimately this revised document. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anything else come to mind, commissioners, at this point? Okay, Tiffany, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes,
Commissioner Jeff Smurrs,
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the revised bylaws are adopted. Approved. We will move on now to report of the road commissioners, starting with Commissioner Smers.
I attended the I'm sorry, wrong one. I attended the Southeast District Road Agencies meeting on November 4th. It was very educational. That is the end of my report.
All right. Commissioner McCollum?
Yes, Madam Chair. On October 22nd, I attended the Commissioners Committee. We discussed the survey results from the 2024 annual seminar and decided that there were no changes to be made to the 2025 seminar based on the survey. Most participants enjoyed the seminar. A few concerns about the lodging, check-in time, and having to drive to another building for the seminar were helpful feedback. There was a discussion on the commissioners' breakout sessions for the 2025 Highway Conference and the 2025 New Commissioners Workshop. A survey will be conducted to determine which topic will be presented at the 2025 webinar. The new commissioners' onboarding package will be sent out to all new commissioners and will include the commissioner's handbook. On October 24th, I attended the concrete seminar by the Center for Technology and Training. The topics were Michigan challenges with highway funding, concrete pavement designs and local asset management programs, delivering the world's best floor, and concrete. On November 4th, I attended a voter registration event coordinated by Commissioner Saunders and Commissioner Light in West Willow, Ypsilanti Township. I also completed the first course for the cybersecurity. And I have I have accepted to speak at the 2025 Highway Conference that will be held on March 26th at the Lansing Center. I will be presenting the Impress Awards during a breakout session as part of the communication track. That is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McCollum. Commissioner Yamas?
I attended the chat on 10/23/24. Had great conversation with staff. No one showed up. I attended the Southeast Council meeting on 11/4/24. And that is my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Green?
Madam.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Commissioner
I
McCollum.
forgot to put in, I was busy. I forgot, I did attend October 30th, I attended the chat with the road commission and I did not have any attendees.
Okay. Commissioner Green?
Thank you. On October 16th, I attended the chat session of the Washington County Road Commission. We had no attendees. On also that same day, I attended the meeting of the Ann Arbor Ypsilanti Chamber of Commerce, in which Mike Tirico was a special guest speaker. On the 24th of October, I attended a meeting of the General Assembly of the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, and there was a special workshop on road funding. There also was a discussion about the millage of Farmington, Michigan. They have a 2.75 10-year millage and a 1.5 mil perpetual millage that automatically renews. So I thought that was very, very interesting. It's a great discussion.
Farmington
Yes,
or Farmington Hills?
City of Farmington.
Huh.
It could be Farmington Hills. I might be mistaken, but
Farmington something or other. Yeah,
okay.
okay. Impressive.
What caught my attention was the 2.75 mil, which I thought was great, and the 1.5 perpetual mil that's written into their charter now.
Mm.
So they have automatic funding
Mhm.
for roads every single year.
At that rate.
I thought that was great.
I think in Washington County, the only perpetual millage is the Huron. What's the park? It's not HWPI, it's the Metro Parks, the Huron
Clinton.
Metro Parks has a perpetual millage.
Yes.
But I don't know of any others. No.
I wanted to add, I felt very good because almost all of the issues that they talked about were things that we've already discussed here at this commission. So we're on the forefront of whatever's going on as it relates to road funding.
Wow, thanks for attending.
Hmm.
What else?
That concludes my
That's
report.
it? Okay.
Thank you.
On October 21st, I attended MDOT's public information session at Washtenaw Community College regarding the US 23 M17 interchange design alternatives. M17, just as a reminder, is also known as Washtenaw Avenue. The project will involve US 23 from I-94 to north of Earhart Road. Anticipated construction is from 2027 through 2029. It's going to be a huge project. October 23rd, I donated at the Washtenaw County Road Commission's blood drive, and I'm hoping you have the number of pints that we donated. It seems like 26 or something.
Sounds right.
It was great participation. I was pleased to be able to be a part of it. On October 24th, I met with Managing Director McDonnell regarding his annual evaluation. On November 3rd, I completed the online cybersecurity training, which is an annual requirement for all members of the Washtenaw County Road Commission organization. And yesterday, I attended the quarterly meeting of the Southeastern District Road Agencies held at the Jackson County Department of Transportation. That concludes my report. We will move on now to staff reports and updates. Staff reports appear on page 62 through 74, and I will turn it over to Matt.
Thank you, Chair Fuller. I also wanted to say thank you for the very meaningful feedback. I know a lot of time was spent on the performance evaluation by all you commissioners, so I appreciate that. I look forward to another good year. I did want to let you know I did attend the CRA communication workshop on October 28th. It was very well done. Kudos to Tiffany and the committee that put that together. A lot of good topics, as you can imagine. Social media was one of them. The way we communicate to the public, the different channels and feeds and the different strategies you have to take. One of them, which I know that our communication manager uses, is there are a lot of viewers that comment, but there's also what they say is a lot of scrollers. So it's important that you do respond with some facts, but then it's a delicate balance of whether you respond to everything, but you wanted to at least reach out and put the facts out there as we know them. So she does a great job of that. Another topic that was talked about was AI, artificial intelligence, all the different tools that are out there. That was a fascinating subject, and one that is growing, and we're going to see more influence in the workplace, I think, more and more as we use that as a tool in our toolbox for doing all of the work that we do. It's an interesting resource, but there's experimentation kind of going on how and best practices, and then there's certain risks too, because it is just mining data, and there's a human element to it. You have to make sure you're making sure that it's a valid sources for use. So very good speaker on that. So very good workshop overall. I want to make note that this Friday, November 8th, is our employee appreciation pancake breakfast at the council grounds. We're excited for that. It's a culmination of getting ready for also the winter season for our operation crews. They've gone through dry run. I'm sure Adam will speak a little bit on that. But also a great chance after a construction season of projects and a lot of accomplishments to say thank you to our employees. So important one, and thank you for those that are able to attend. Want to also mention we are doing open enrollment for our employees. Our HR coordinator, Alicia Hell, has done an outstanding job of going around to all the yards and talking with employees about all the great benefit packages and just things that are minor changes for by and large. It's the same program that we've had, but we're using a different way to enroll folks. It's an online system, so she had to make sure people are aware of that. So that's going on. We also, one of our board members mentioned cybersecurity, I recall, in one of the reports. So we rolled out the WCRC Academy. that is starting off with cybersecurity training. So thank you those if it started it or finished it. That is out there for us all to accomplish in the next month. And lastly, we did post on our website an invitation to bid for the M52 properties that was posted. Signs are coming for the property as well. We notified the township of that as well. The bid opening will be February 5th, so first part of the year.
Could I just interject, Matt? If
Absolutely.
you get any questions on the sale of that property, they should be directed to Kurt Brochet, who's handling this, correct? So
Absolutely.
that
He's
there's
managing the process.
one person responding to the questions about this property. We know what they're asking, what we're saying. And there are details that are just beyond my understanding, and I rely on Kurt to make sure he gets the message back promptly, which he does. And he explains things very thoroughly.
Absolutely.
So
And you
direct
can,
those to Kurt.
you can also forward it to me and I can forward it on.
Okay.
Either way. Options. Any questions on the material presented in the report? In the board packet? Cover a couple of them. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and move on to staff reports. First up is Brent Schlack. Their engineering report.
Hello, good afternoon. Brent Schlack, Director of Engineering. So I have a few project updates. For our HMA paving projects, the 2024 countywide HMA paving, the hot mix asphalt is substantially complete. So we do have some final project closeout. We gotta get the contractor to pick up some of the traffic control, but for the most part, we are complete with that project. Jackson Road, the westbound concrete inlay project. That one, we have some surface imperfections that we're looking to diamond grind, which I know Aaron brought up last meeting. And some traffic signal related, devices that need to be installed, and we're hoping to have that in the next couple weeks. Stony Creek Bridge over Paint Creek. That they have, for the most part, backfilled. They're finalizing some of that backfill for that box culvert, and we're hoping to have that roadway paved here by the early next week. Huron at Brinker, we're just waiting for the delivery of the steel mast arm, which we're expecting later this month. Some permit projects, Stabler at Park. We've had some unfortunate delays due to utility. We're working through those to get those relocated. So that project is kind of on pause as we work through those. So hopefully we get those resolved here soon.
Is that DTE? Is that consumer?
So
Gas? What-
it's DTE gas along Stabler. And then there is another conflict along Park
Hmm.
that we believe it's DTE. So we're trying to work through all those utilities to get those relocated. Part of that project, we had to realign the stream, and unfortunately, some of the gas was in the way. So we need to be relocated. So we're working with DTE. Morgan Road, that's part of the Amazon. That one is actually, there is pavement down. So our first lift of pavement is down. And I know last meeting, we had talked about getting some plans for that. I've reached out to the township to get plans for the development. We have plans for the roadway. And I just wanted some clarification from the board on if you wanted our roadway plans or you were just curious on what the layouts were of the development, which we don't have. We mainly have what the developers agreed to do for our roadway system.
Who had that question? Gloria, did you?
Yeah, so I'm interested in the roadway and
Okay.
how their driveway is gonna impact Carpenter Road, because
Okay.
it's already a really busy
Okay.
road and gets backed up. So is there apron for their delivery trucks? How that's gonna impact
Yep.
Carpenter Road?
Okay, yeah, and I can certainly forward those to Matt so he can supply them to the board. And yeah, they'll be accessing that development through Morgan Road. They have a couple driveways on Carpenter, and then Carpenter and Clover Lane is another entrance that they'll have at the signal. So yeah,
Okay.
I can certainly share those.
Would those be available on Pittsfield's website?
No, they're part of our permit, and I can share those
Okay.
with you.
Okay, she's not finished.
Yes.
I have one more question. I know that the larger trucks are gonna be going in on Morgan Road, so they will be exiting US 23 onto 12 or 94 or both? in
So
both-
that
in
was
both
one
directions?
reason that we worked through that road improvement agreement for them to pave Morgan Road. That'll be a good access for them to get out onto US 12 to then utilize the interchange at 94 and US 12.
Okay,
Certainly, they're gonna have deliveries. I mean, we've all gotten Amazon packages, so they'll be traversing down Carpenter Road and, even south on Carpenter Road, or even to head west on US 12. So they'll be within the other intersections, but if they have to access the freeway system, we want them to go towards US 12 and I-94.
okay, so I guess my concern is mostly not the delivery trucks because they already traverse pretty much, right? My concern is the semis and how big they are. And-
Yeah, they have their system down as far as whenever they receive, so overnight they're receiving a lot of their warehouse items. And then their short-term delivery for their smaller trucks then come in, and then I think they're loaded at like 10 AM. And then they go out on the road. So a lot of the big trucks will come in an off-peak time.
Okay.
So it
Thank you.
shouldn't be impacted. That was a big discussion as we were working through this road improvement agreement and working with the township.
Thank you very much.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay.
As far as our local subdivision road paving, we have one subdivision that we're working in, that's Arbor Creek, and it's through a Pittsfield Township agreement. That paving is actually completing today. We do have some concrete work remaining for that project, but hopefully that paving will be completed today, and then we can just finalize some of that concrete. Aside from that, staff is diligently working on our 2025 and 2026 projects. One project to note is our Tyler Road washout, which is happened in August of 23. We've had to work through the Washtenaw County Water Resource Commission and Eagle. And I'm happy to say that we have finally gotten our Eagle permit for that work. So we're finalizing plans and preparing these for a bid package. And we're hoping to have that advertised here and bid out by the first of the year. Or shortly thereafter, the first of the year. So that, just to note that one. So aside from that, our communications department, they do a great job on keeping our website up to date. So I would encourage those that do have questions about our projects to look at our website. That concludes my report.
Questions for Brent?
Okay, great.
Thanks, Brent.
Yep.
Next up is finance. I know Dan and a lot of the directors are working very hard for our upcoming working session at the end of the month on budget. So a lot of discussions, Dan, right?
Yes, oh, yes. Good afternoon, Dan Ackerman, Director of Finance, and Matt's right. My main focus has been on the budget. At this point in the process, I'm almost tired of crunching numbers, which I love to do, but at some point you get so many in your head and everything. But anyway, it's been a great process. I've met with the other departments. We had a leadership meeting this morning, very lively conversation on the budget. So we're kind of targeting this working session. So we want to make sure we have everything in order and get all the information to the board well ahead of time. So you have a chance to go through all the documents and have your questions ready. But, so far so good. 2025 looks to be quite a banner year as far as projects are concerned. So we have to account for all that too. So but staff does a great job and I appreciate operations and engineering for all their assistance on things. And, you know, I look at the budget a certain way and they look at it a different way, and hopefully we arrive at the same place. If we don't, we can talk about it. I'm always afraid if I miss something because there's just a lot of moving parts, but I think we have some good check and balances between us as a team. And so I think we'll definitely be ready and we'll get everything to you, and looking forward to that discussion at the working session coming up, so. So I'd also like to talk Michigan Transportation Funds. Received our September MTF amount. And delighted to see the 9% increase in September of 24 compared to 23. And was talking to Matt about this earlier. If you look at the monthly differences, all the fluctuations, you know, so it was down 6% at one point, was up 9% in September, which is great. But, you know, again, how do you budget for that? So again, we just use our history. We definitely approach it conservatively. But you know, we always do the best we can to estimate what we'll receive from Michigan Transportation Funds. So again, for year to date, we're up about 1% for 9 months in 24 compared to 23. I fully expect it to be a little higher, but again, we don't know. So, and if you ask MDOT, they'll say people are driving more or less, or anyway, so we'll again use our history and everything else to come up with a good budget amount for you on that. So in the ACH world, I always share that with you. We had a record low number of checks for our most recent check run. That'll be for this Wednesday. We had 5 checks. Isn't that amazing? That
Nice work.
I paused. Well, Jamie
Whoever's
Kraus.
out there listening.
Jamie
nice
Kraus
work.
gets all the credit in the world. She is just really hitting this hard and just
Wow.
following up, you know, second communication, you know, making phone calls. And her enthusiasm is just, it's infectious, and it's been great.
Good for her.
So we had 5 checks and 102 ACH payments.
No.
So that's 95% ACH, which is awesome.
And those 5 checks are just little things that probably will never go.
No, she said of the 5, there were 2 that she's working on. So she's like, you know,
No, it's alone.
sometimes it takes a little while to
Yeah.
get to the right person and get things set up. And so she's like, darn it, I could have had 2 more. So it could have been almost 3. And maybe one of these days we'll have 0 checks, which is just amazing. So yeah, definitely kudos to Jamie and all her efforts. And you know, I think it's just a much more efficient way to conduct business. So just want to share that. And also finance department, busy time of the year. Besides the budget, we're planning for year end and audit. And so we are meeting as a team on a regular basis to discuss
Just-
timing of pays. What's that?
Just-
I know, it seems like it. It seems like we just went through the holidays, right?
Yeah.
Here we go again. But we just want to make sure that we're meeting all of our deadlines and, you know, make sure obviously we're paying our employees on time and accurately and get everything processed. We're waiting to close the books for October, and we can send out another batch of final township billings, which will be great. So there's just a lot of things happening in finance, but we've been through it and we'll be fine. So we're trying to stay on top of it. So that's all.
Great. Any questions for Dan?
The comment.
Oh, certainly.
Dan, I know we brought up the ACH several meetings ago, and just, I'm glad you guys are working on it, because it does reduce fraud going to the
Right.
ACH drastically. The amount of people out there now able to produce a check and, you know, once they have your numbers and everything, so good job at getting it down. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's, you know, one of the biggest fraud preventions you can have is just eliminating checks as much as you can, so.
And our employees are all paid direct deposit too, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, both their biweekly payroll checks, and then if they receive an expense reimbursement, that's also all ACH as well, so.
Great job.
Job.
Wonder how the rest of the road departments, agencies, commissions. stack
I
up.
don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I mean, why they've not embraced it, I don't know. It's, on the front end, it was a lot of heavy lifting to get all the processes in place, and we worked with our financial software folks to get everything set up. So there is some heavy lifting, but it's so worth it for so many levels, like, check reconciliations, right? If you cut the amount of checks you have, to like 10%, that check reconciliation is much faster and easier to do. So there's just a lot of other benefits besides the fraud preventions. Plus, our vendors get paid quicker too.
Yeah.
So,
Commissioner Yamas.
So I want to thank you. I remember asking about that early on,
yes.
and
Mhm.
the push you had to do to get some acceptance and to get this rolling, that heavy lifting.
Yeah. Yeah, we are certainly in a good spot.
So appreciate that.
Mhm.
Anything else? No? Okay,
Great, thank you.
thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Next up, Adam Lake. Operations report.
Good afternoon, Adam Lape, Director of Operations. So Matt kind of alluded to that. Dry run is finally complete, so we patiently await the first snow. Hopefully it's nice and long because we have some other work we'd like to do. Tiffany and I wanted to show a few photos. Tiffany, would you like me to connect in, or do you have a couple pulled up? Okay, thank you. I can show you guys a few pictures when that's loading up. In the meantime, crews have went back to routine maintenance and finishing up some small project works for the year. And then the heavy equipment crew, we actually finished up signing POs yesterday for 3 of the bigger culverts. We're actually gonna do some larger culverts here to finish the year. So, yeah, we were able to even move one up from 25 to 24, and so.
What's the
hopefully-
culvert count this year?
Oh, we're over 20 at least. Gosh, Ryan would probably be mad at me. Ryan Lewis, the group leader, and heavy
I'd
equipment,
love
mad
to,
at me for not remembering.
remember Jim Harmon used to do the salt bar graphs and we could. see
Yeah.
them.
Culverts, I know we're over 20 early in the year, but if you break it down, go larger scale culverts, I mean, we've got at least 10 of those bigger culverts. And the number of smaller culverts, and we mean smaller culvert by, 24 inches or smaller, something any of our crews could put in at any given time really quickly. We might have touched 100 by time we get done with all the projects, but we go through a lot of those. The bigger ones take a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So we're happy to get those done because the next 2 years, we were talking about today in the budget meeting, we have a lot of culverts to do still, and thankfully for that grant program, that's really helpful. But we gotta strategically get through them as quick as we can, so hopefully, winter waits a little bit, and then we can finish a couple here and round out this year.
And who's king of the culverts? Ryan?
Ryan Lewis, the group leader for
Lewis.
heavy equipment, and Jason Klaus, the foreman for heavy equipment. Ken Harris, Jared Powers, so those are 2 superintendents. They do a lot of that planning, and then all the crews try to help and supplement as much as they can. But the heavy equipment group gets the heavy lift with the big stuff. So yeah, they'd be mad at me if I didn't remember the number, so I'll have to get it so Ryan doesn't get upset with me, but if you look at your screen, yeah, and it's a good competition. It's a good thing with our group. I'm glad that they're motivated to do it. They're really good at it. And I think with this opportunity for all these culverts coming up, I think we stand a chance of getting even better. So we're doing
Right.
pretty good. So what you see here in the picture, this is one of our 1 tons. This is at, so you hear the main yard. I think this is District 1's 1 ton, judging by the license plate. So yeah, that was kind of an inspection there. We use these to kind of go in and out of the subdivisions. Keep ourselves busy there as the snow kind of subsides. We got to clean out those kind of ins and outs of subdivisions, the cul-de-sacs, even could be used in a roundabout. So these are very critical pieces of equipment. So we inspect those just as we do inspect the heavy trucks as well. And there's District 4. So they decided to have a crew picture for theirs because they have an individual retiring this year.
Who's
So
retiring?
Dan in the middle there.
Really?
Yep, Dan Blumenauer will be retiring this season, so a lot of experience there with that group, a lot of experience with that gentleman himself. So we love having him, but he's gonna go on to other things and those fruits of the labor that we talk about
Yeah.
and exercise his option for that. So Rourke and them wanted to get a picture.
Nice.
So yeah, it was kind of nice to have that crew take a little picture of one of our new trucks down there. Oh, that's all right. All right, so they were talking to District 3, so this is the Chelsea yard. So as you can see with different types of buildings that we have, ranging from like an outpost like a District 3 and a 4, where we just meet in a garage and talk, and then we have nice meeting rooms at some of our service centers. So we really kind of take this road or this show on the road a little bit, and it's kind of nice to get out there to the yard. So there's Matt, it's kind of touching base with the group, and I can see Jared over on the far corner there, and then Ken on the left, and then the foreman here, Scott, in the orange shirts there. And we kind of share around the room, kind of communicate to the group. We didn't put a TV up in that part of the building yet, so we didn't have our PowerPoint. I'm kind of over in the corner where normally we'd have a PowerPoint running. So that group's pretty experienced as well, so we can kind of get past the not having a PowerPoint, kind of read off the keynotes.
What yard is this again?
This is District 3, so this is in
District
Chelsea.
3.
Yeah, that's the Chelsea buildings.
Joanne.
Madam Chair, it looks like, Adam, you were opening a box of donuts.
Probably. I actually didn't even look at myself, but I guarantee I was, because they tempt me every time I go out there. It's the pretzels that get me.
Oh,
They get the Chelsea Bakery pretzels, and yeah, we can't quite get away from those, so.
Good. crew.
I've knocked the 7 pounds that I gained in dry run off here this week, so try to keep those away from me. So here's in District 2, this was probably middle of last week, I think we finished this one up. So there's Ken's kind of looking at some of the spreader and some of the wing unit. So behind that wing where Tiffany has her mouse there's some mechanisms and hardware that are wear items, so they wear out. So we have, boy, I don't even know math. We have probably 50 to 60 wing plows, if not more, in the county, because some of our trucks have 2. So obviously a lot of moving pieces that we need to review and inspect every year. So that's kind of what Ken's looking at there. That's one of our critical pieces. Like I say, it's a wear item. So they eventually will wear and fall off if you can't keep a good, inspection on them. So we do a lot of work on those, try to make sure they stay together good and take good care of them. So after this year, all of our trucks will have a wing of some type on. Most will have right wing. Like I say, we do have some of the state trunk line multi-lane trucks where we can have 2 wings on. And this is-
I also, just add in, Adam, you'll notice they don't have a clipboard, which normally they, in years past, many years ago. So now it's all digital, it's on the
Yeah.
phone. They have all their checklists, they take pictures of, as they're going around the truck, of issues. And, it's all documented.
Yeah, it's incredibly better than what it was. And when Ken and I started, we were notebooks and notepads and pictures with your phone and cameras. It was hard. Probably 5 years ago, I think now, I believe Ken and Tiffany found a program, and I don't even know the name of it at the time. Found a program that we could download and kind of make work. So we had our tablets and we did that. And then now they've progressed even further, in the last few years since I've been doing inspections. They've progressed. Ken, Jared, and Tiffany, now they're just on the phones. So it's great. We're getting through a truck where we used to have 151, I think, check boxes. We're down to like 25 or 30. A little more simplified.
Drop downs.
Yeah.
Drop downs.
So much more simplified information.
Yep.
In this picture, actually, Tiffany took when she was up in the cab of the loader. That's the orange piece you see right in the kind of left side bottom of the screen there. She's on her phone too, uploading pictures of the equipment. So that's how we keep our precision documents up to date with our equipment. She'll go around and take the chainsaws and all kinds of pictures she can take, almost like a physical inventory while we're in dry run. That helps us in case we ever suffer a catastrophe, like a loss. Let's say somebody loses a saw or a truck catches on fire or something. So we'll have some actual physical photo documentation from Chris. So that is really good for us. And they can all do it independently. You see, Matt and I are talking to the group there while the rest of the group is off inspecting other trucks. And so we don't all have to be in the same spot like we used to. So we can fly through the inspections now. And like I say, that is Northeast Service Center. So you can see that's the Taj Mahal compared to what some of our buildings have. So we have nice and space and it's nice and warm. So we're real lucky to have that building, but every crew makes do with what they have. So it turns out usually pretty good, and they all have their own style too. So we kind of let them run with it. I think that might be it, yeah. You did see in a few pictures there while Tiffany's kind of closing it out. See the tire chains hanging there on the side. So what we do is lay those out. And then every other year we require the group to actually mount those. So newer employees get some experience fitting those to a truck. They're not the easiest things to do. So, we want to have some experience with it in case we have to throw them on in a pinch when we get some ice. So we inspect them because obviously they're a wear item because they go between the tire and the ground. So as you're driving out to, whatever location, you may be running on good asphalt because you're going out to the ice. So, you kind of look like the 4th of July as you're driving down the road, but, so we have to check those cross links. So we usually replace them and order new ones if we need be.
Commissioner Green.
Yes. How often do you have to use the tire chains?
Hopefully never. Probably, we average, I'd say, once or twice a year that we have to put them on. And it's usually where we get, and it's not when you think we're super, super cold. It's actually where we get like the mild events where you get, let's say, a couple inches of snow overnight. It's in the 20s. And then during the day, it's going to warm up into the 30s. That's actually where we see needing that the most. And then aside from a normal ice storm where it's just all ice like we got 2 years ago. But you'll see that, so like end of season, closer into like the February time, where we'll get those moments where it snows and then traffic drives on it. And most of the time it's for the unpaved roads. So the secondary road system, because we're able to salt the paved road system while the event's going on. But by the time we get to the snow cover that's now hard packed and it's starting to warm up, it glazes a little bit. Or if it were to rain on top of that snow again, that's when you have to put the chains on. So usually once or twice a year. The Manchester crews on the southwest area, the county, they'll do it more often because they have more hills in that area. And that group's experienced with that and trust those chains, so they're comfortable with that. So they'll go out and be able to utilize those chains. So they might use them a little bit more throughout the year. But the rest of us try to not have to put those on that much. Because it's a bit of a challenge to try to steer the truck with a blade and keep yourself out of the ditch with the rest of the people. So it's a technique. The gentlemen that operate these trucks are really good. So yeah, it's a technique, but, yeah, so that's kind of some of the stuff we do for dry run. We were able to in September and October, travel around a little bit and get a little bit of training for ourselves, myself, the superintendents and the foreman. And we actually stumbled across the superintendent's council, meeting that we had. A lot of groups aren't doing dry runs. To the extent that we do. So we had a few groups, actually last week, Lenawee County came up, Midland County came down to see us. And we sent some information, I think, might have sent something to Calhoun, gonna send some more back to Midland. Lenawee's gonna have us down to talk to their group and start that. It's kind of evident sometimes you see because the trucks, they don't really get a once or twice a year where they're actually like really maintained, really cleaned up. And if you don't give that opportunity for the crew to do that, your equipment can quickly show signs of that. And also like our people are very much accustomed to and familiar with their units. So they kind of know what's going on. If they start to have a blade that's falling off or something's not working right, they have a good understanding of that. So if you just had a mechanic put it on and then you just get in and operate it, you don't have that real feel of what's happening. So you don't know when things are starting to fall apart. And so that's leads to a lot of downtime, prevents us from having it doing the dry run. So it was a bit shocking. We're proud to know that we're one of the only, I shouldn't say one of the only ones, one of few that are doing that. So we've quickly became very, very proud of our dry run process. And I think we just keep getting better at it. We hope to transition that a little bit forward into the spring and set up our units kind of for the summer work. And that'll give us that second time a year to make sure all the salt's taken out of the trucks and kind of flush the frames out with water and just keep our stuff on the road as long as we can. The mechanics appreciate that.
Who got the Golden Plow Award?
Oh, I can't tell you. I'll have to tell
Be
you Friday.
unveiled at the
Yeah.
employee
With the
appreciation
pancake
breakfast.
Yeah, if I told you that, I'd have to go back and face Ken Harris. I'm not doing,
Oh,
he's
well,
bigger than me.
I withdraw the question.
Okay, thank you.
I withdraw.
Thank you. Yeah, so if there are any other questions, yeah.
Huh?
Held tightly,
Oh, it's in the
Yes.
vault.
Yes,
I don't
very sought
even
after,
know.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Keep it from me.
Well, I think Ken sent you an email, maybe he didn't.
Yeah, the crews do a great job of prepping, but also the shop, because a lot of times you're finding things and then you're submitting tickets to the
Yeah.
shop. So the shop ends up being
Their workload
very
is
busy,
long.
very busy, this time of year. So
Yeah, we certainly.
great
appreciate
job by
that.
the entire department.
Yeah, This year was pretty good. I think we can get better. And we'll meet about that tomorrow with the foreman and just keep building to get better. But for the most part, everybody's kind of taking ownership of their unit, which is a good thing. You all see the budget and how much these things cost, so they certainly don't get any cheaper, and we have a very nice fleet, so we hope to keep it that way. And exercises like this will keep us going that direction.
All right, thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
That concludes what we had to present.
All right. A reminder about the cybersecurity training. There are 5 modules. Please complete them on or before November 29th. My experience was it took about an hour to complete all of them if you're doing it in one sitting. But you can go in and do one, back out. You can stop in the middle of it if you have something on the stove that's boiling over, and it will let you resume. So get that done before November 29th. So before Thanksgiving, just put that in your calendar that way. Our next working session and board meeting is November 19th, the working session at 9 a.m. We will do the 4th quarter budget review and look at the draft 2025 budget. So set aside time that weekend. The packet usually comes out, Friday, Dan? It's usually complete and Tiffany gets it posted. So plan to get yourself a cup of coffee or 2 and sit down when it's quiet and go through that. So we have a good discussion when we get to the working session. Our November chat sessions, November 6th, tomorrow is Commissioner Smers. November 13th is Commissioner Green. November 20th will be myself. And November 27th, there is no chat session because that's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the office is closed because our organization did such a great job of staying safe and avoiding injuries. So that day the office is closed and there's no chat session. So if there's nothing else from anybody, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Tiffany, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Almas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smers,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, we are adjourned.